Hello and welcome. My name is Gemstone, and today we are back in Our Life Beginnings and Always. We're going to continue right from where we left off, which is deciding our feelings for Cove going into adulthood. So we already made our looks, so it looks like my updated Gemstone, and now we've got to decide how we feel about him. So obviously, we're not indifferent about him. We're good friends, at the very least. But this time, I think we're gonna stay relaxed. I feel like childhood friends, it's cool to just go into it naturally, to just flow into the relationship as is. So instead of being too direct, because that's not the type of person I am, or too nervous because we've known him for like over half of our life at this point. So I think it makes sense to stay relaxed. As for this, I think crush is something we would have probably had in between the last section and this section. We're adults now. We're 18, I believe, so I'm just gonna go straight to love, It's developed naturally through our whole childhood. I think we're ready to go straight to— oh, the face changes! I think we're ready to go straight to love. So we've got relaxed love, and let's get into it. Step 3 at relaxed love? Yes. Okay, so, should we customize Cove this time? Oh, he's so cute. Oh. Well, maybe change the shirt a bit. I'm not a huge fan of that color. Oh, Ocean Boy. Yeah, not a huge fan of this color. This one's pretty good, but it's also black in the summer, and then this one's long sleeve in the summer. I mean, none of these seem like great choices. I guess the color's not so bad. Let's see what pants. Ooh, that's pretty cute. Ooh, that's nice. Tan. So definitely not jeans, because that is just the worst thing to wear in the summer. I like the green cargos with this shirt, actually, but I don't know if it kind of clashes with his hair, because these are like warmer yellows, and this is like a blue, or warmer greens, I mean. And this is a blue green. Emo. Like casual board shorts. That's pretty cute, and that's pretty cute. I think we'll stick with the lighter for summer. Since he's wearing a dark shirt, we'll go lighter for summer. I think everything else we might just want to leave as is. Oh. Oh, that's so cute. I think we're gonna stay. Should we keep his cute little glasses on? I guess he could have gotten like eye surgery or contacts. I don't know, he looks kind of cute with the glasses though. I want to leave like all the jewelry and stuff, just, it feels like he's supposed to have those ones. Actually, maybe, oh. Ooh. Oh, I like that one actually. Yeah, I like the leather. Okay, so maybe we will change them a little bit. We'll keep that one for that wrist, I think that's cute. And I want to leave the anchor necklace because it matches these, but I do want to look at— ah, it's just fun. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm kind of glad we customized him. I would not want to put him through jeans in the summer. What? Oh, PJs, huh? Ooh. Green goes well with his hair, but blue though. Nah, we'll stick with the green. And he doesn't wear glasses at night. Oh ho ho! We're going swimming! We'll stick with blue. His hair's different just when— I think that's only this side. Oh, wait. Actually, does this change the whole time? I think that might apply for all of them, so we'll keep the glasses. Ooh. I like the burgundy. Alright, so we've got Cove ready. Ooh. Since you're romantically interested in Cove and are old enough to start being physically affectionate more seriously, you can choose what initiative level he has throughout this step. Interesting. That's good for like comfort levels of people. Making sure the player experiences what they want is important in our life, but always putting your choice first can potentially make a relationship feel one-sided. So, we've added some flexibility in how it works out. Low initiative means that Cove will occasionally ask to touch the MC, and in those situations there will always be an opportunity to say yes or no. For example, he won't simply lean over and kiss the MC as a greeting or in an emotional moment. Every piece of physical interaction will be either initiated or approved by the player before it happens. Middle initiative means that there will be those certain times when Cove requests to touch the MC, many chances to initiate affection on your own, and also he will pretty regularly give affection automatically. One example would be giving the MC a kiss because he's happy or emotional or something else. Hello Sky, welcome! Only a tiny bit. All we've done so far is choose relaxed love for our current attitude towards Cove, and also customize his adult look a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean change, like, most of stuff. But anyway, you didn't miss too much, and you'll see what we did change very soon. And in other situations, you can choose not to make the first move in order to give Cove the space to be the one to act afterwards. Overall, the love interest can get romantic, but the player's agency will take priority. High initiative includes everything middle does, but it also means that player agency will be reduced to a degree in favor of having Cove give physical affection even more frequently, and with less prompting. Instead of all the major affection-giving situations being led by a choice menu for you to decide on, some will instead be replaced by Cove acting automatically. This level is only recommended if you're very comfortable with physical affection, and would prefer to simply see it happen rather than always holding the reins on it. However, this level is mostly relevant if Cove ends up as your official boyfriend at some point. Situations where high-level initiative makes a difference tend to come up in scenes that are exclusive to being in a relationship. Alright, good to know. The parts that are also included in the middle initiative will be seen whether you're dating or not. Once you pick your level, it can't be changed partway through a step. The choice only comes up at the very beginning of a story section. So if we don't like how much is happening or how little it's happening, we can change it. That's cool. We hope you enjoy whichever initiative option you decide on. I think we're gonna go with a middle for now. As I said, relaxed love, so we love him, we're comfortable with him, but also, you know, I want my initiative, so. Okay, back and late and gonna have to lurk, but Jem, you better smooch that baby boy's face. Hi, Potato, welcome. I hope you're doing well as well. So we're gonna go middle initiative. So he has some agency, but we also have some agency too. The start of classes ended the relaxed, free days of summer. It didn't take long for you to get back into the swing of the school year routine. Schedules and homework became the new normal. Derek wasn't around nearly as much. With school and after-school activities, there weren't many opportunities for him to take the trip out to your neighborhood. Sometimes you'd hear that he was at a training camp or something like that, but you weren't always sure what he was up to. Unfortunately, as a person, I'm much more like this, because it's kind of like that out of sight, out of mind thing. Yeah, I feel... I'm so sorry, Derek. You're really fun, but I am not still in contact with anyone I knew in childhood. The Jeremy kid did disappear after that summer, and no one ever heard from him again. Where he went or what he might be up to was a mystery. Alright, it did tell us that Jeremy, like, there was something we could have done to, like, see him again or become friends or affect something, but we didn't do it, so oh well. I wish him all the best. More summers came and went like the waves on the shore coming in and out. In your second year of high school, someone new started to visit Sunset Bird, a sunny girl named Terry Brooke. She was a friend Cove made due to them both being ocean obsessed. Terry was more than glad to befriend you too. Someone close to Cove had to be good company, she felt. You were pleased to get along with her as well. A rival? Terry was tight with another girl who you had known distantly from school for a long time, Miranda Eckert. You saw more and more of her as time went on, thanks to Terry and Miranda's own outreach. That is the way it would be most likely to happen, yes. Get away from my husband. Okay, so new characters and new voices to remember, I guess. After a while, all of you developed a real friendship together. As for your home life, the Hosakis also had developments. Uh-oh, did we... well, not uh-oh, but did we get another sibling, perhaps? Oh. Changing laws and public perception countrywide made it possible for your moms to openly wear their wedding rings without questions. Though they had a wedding years ago, it was only recent that the union was officially recognized everywhere in the US. That was a good day, to say the least. Elizabeth came into her own and stopped being quite as irritable. She no longer worried about perceived childishness as she grew up for real. She didn't even mind being called Lizzie again, though most people just used Liz. She eventually graduated high school and moved out to attend college in another state. It was a lot for you to adjust to your older sister being gone. Liz never let you forget her role in her life, though, and kept in touch. Aww. Cove's relationships with his family improved over the years. Kyra visited several times after that summer, and things became easier between the two. He was also closer with his dad than ever before. You knew they talked more, and that helped prevent a lot of friction before it could start. Cove had become so much more outgoing than when you had first met him. He was so bright, he shone. He would willingly join conversations, make jokes, and put in an effort not to use overly blunt phrasing. Ah, he learned to mask. Poor buddy. Cove's interests had shifted from when he was younger. He still enjoyed athletic activities on occasion, but now he gave time to more studious endeavors as well. Ooh, matured affection. Things had shifted between you and Cove. You had been friends for years, but the closer you became, the more you felt for him. After all this time, he wasn't just your neighbor. He wasn't only your friend, or even a guy you were interested in. You were in love with him. You loved Cove. You knew that fact for certain. There was no one else you held those feelings for. Of course, I mess up speaking at the best part. It was strange to look back on it all. The future faded into your present, and then it was simply the past. Even the most fundamental parts of your life couldn't last forever. You felt that the most pointedly the day you inevitably graduated high school. Heck yeah. It was over, and you would not be going back ever again. From now on, what came next was your choice. You would be directing your own life. That was where you were currently. The summer after school had ended. The first summer of true freedom. Until you get a job, to start saving up for college, if you haven't done that already. What used to be a reprieve from the typical was now going to be your first step into adulthood. One fine summer morning, you took in what had become a very special scene. The whole family having a meal together. Whoa! Your big sister Liz hadn't lived at home full-time for a couple years, but she arrived last week to spend the season here since it was an off semester for her. Lizzie, you're all grown up! She wanted to make sure she was in town because you had now also graduated high school, so who knew how much rarer these moments would become in the future. You watched on as Liz laughed good-naturedly over a comment Mom made. Her Elizabeth-only mindset had only been a phase. Nearly any nickname was welcomed at this point in her life. Strangely, even though she'd moved away, you'd lately felt closer to her than you had in a long time. You idly scooped up more of your breakfast and chewed absent-mindedly. You generally ate whatever, and the meal you had reflected that. It included just about everything your moms had made, though you often made your own food nowadays. She cute? Yeah! I want to see her with her eyes open. With Liz around, though, your parents made even more options than usual. Your sister had been vegetarian for a while, and they wanted to make sure she had choices too. Whoa! They're old. Whoa! Conversation had gone on idly, without you fully taking in the words, until your ears were piqued when Ma started on a bit of town gossip. And so that's how I heard the news. All right. Now stop burying the lead and tell us. What is this so-called news? Ma giggled as she cast a look across the table, satisfied that she had everyone's attention. Ooh, she's pretty. She also got taller. Or is she just, closer to us? Well, it turns out the Donnells won't be renting out the condo up the street, as per Sunset Bird tradition, for the first time in what must be nearly 2 decades. A chorus of gasps and shocked expressions were had all around. After the initial shock, your eyebrows pinched. Ma may consider them by name, but you and Liz always viewed them exclusively as the mean old couple who would yell at anyone under 25 who crossed their paths. They only liked people with fully matured brains. Your ma continued on with the story, spreading strawberry jam over a piece of toast as she did so. They've decided not to take any big trips anymore. Friends and family will be visiting them at their home. That's nicer for them then. Have a good summer, mean grandparents with no grandkids. Away from us. Finally, they can piss off. You didn't have anything to comment on that development. Be nice, Liz. You don't want to end up like them, do you? You and your sister cracked smiles at the joke. At least they won't be here to yell at my children anymore. And that blunt comment got laughter from all three of you. Engrossed in conversation once more, you continued to chat with your family until the meal was over. Oh? Step 3. Third time's charm. Oh, did I miss? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Oops. I thought I might have scrolled by accident. As it went, once food was eaten, the cleanup had to be done. Liz took the role of washing the dishes and passed them to you for drying and putting away. Hey, I was always the dryer. My younger sister was the washer, though. You had a set of cups in front of you that needed to go to the top shelf of the cabinet. On the top shelf of the cabinet? Yeah, struggle. That was simply your lot in life. You had always been vertically challenged. You felt great about how things were. I'm cute. Fun-sized. You used to struggle a bit with how to feel about that, but you'd come to appreciate it over the years. Yeah, exactly. Liz shook you out of your internal musing by starting up an impromptu conversation. She seemed to be voicing the thoughts that had been buzzing around in her own head. She tiny? Not tiny, but like on the lower end of average or the upper end of short, so. This dress is so cute. I have to say, going back for another semester this fall is pretty intimidating. You'd think after the first year or two I'd have a handle on things, but no. You stole a glance at her, still placing cups in the proper place. I guess it's only fair. My first round was pretty general classes, and year 1 of my architecture major was the basics. Now it feels serious. I have to actually know some things. The laugh she gave was flippantly airy, but the way she scrubbed at the plates held more force than necessary. I know you can handle it. How sweet of you to believe in me. Thanks. Your older sister's mouth quirked into a small smile. It'll be fine, one way or another. Okay, her voice is a little deeper than I thought. But I'm not trying to scare you away from college, if that's even your plan. What is going on with that anyway? You had absolutely no idea. You answered the question as much as you were able and willing to. Liz's smile grew more reassuring as you did. Ah! Her listening face is so cute. You've made it through 12 years of full-time education already. You've got plenty going for you. Sometimes it still felt hard to believe your public schooling experience was over. In the end, I was not the greatest in school. I was homeschooled and I still wasn't the greatest. But, I did decently. So, yeah, that one. I did not get great grades. I tried decently hard and did make it, but I had been an average graduate. You guys do 12? I don't know. I don't remember. And you felt satisfied leaving off there. It had been a familiar and enjoyable part of your life, but you were ready to move on. We have to do 13 years? Ah. Oh yeah, it's like years 1 to 13 there, right? I don't even know the grading system that the US has. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to remember. Liz picked up on the silence her question ended up creating. She decided it was time to make a closing statement on the topic. Aw. Do what's best for you, and we'll be here to back it up. K to 12. K is optional by state, I believe. Thank you, Glagus. And welcome. How are you doing today? Thanks, Liz. 1 to 10, then E, then Q1 to Q4? Schools. You just have to make it so exciting, don't you? You can't just make it numbers. Technically 13 in the US also. Not sure if kindergarten is a strict requirement in some jurisdiction. Thanks, Nintendiot. Wow. They sure do be making those complicated, huh? And at that, Liz happily passed the final dish your way. She waved a soapy, soaked hand as a farewell and moved on to her next task for the cleanup job. You were refocused on getting the last pieces put away where they belong. You eventually moved on to a new chore, but that was interrupted by the sound of your cell phone. Oh, we have a cell phone now. I guess that makes sense, we're 18, so. Vibrate. You casually picked it up from the table where you'd placed it earlier. The phone was a couple years old at this point, having been a 16th birthday gift from your parents. They decided which model to get, but you got to pick the color. It was... ooh, turquoise! Match. Actually, okay, here's my thought process. Turquoise. I'm turquoise, so gold would make more sense to go with my hair. But in this, they didn't have turquoise as a skin color option, so I'm olive skinned with gold eyes and hair. Would I most likely be wearing turquoise most of the time? We'll go gold to match my hair. Ooh, we could do a special charm? No. And it was just a phone. You didn't do anything to decorate it. My phone, I painted the case for. I painted Shinso from My Hero Academia on it. The screen lit up as you gave the little device a swipe with one finger. You were informed by caller ID that it was Lee. You weren't surprised. Hey, our cousin. Despite having busier and busier lives and not living in the same town, you still had a good relationship with your cousin of the same age. Especially once the miracle of the both of you having your own phones actually happened. She got hers first, though. That makes sense. Tapping at the accept button, you answered her call. A familiar, bubbly voice came through right after. Oh boy, let me try and remember this one. Okay, a little bit older. Lee's high-pitched voice. Okay. Oh, hey, we got a sample. Heck yeah. Hiya. I trust I'm not interrupting anything major? Only some cleaning around the house. Oh, then you're welcome for my call. A distraction from that must have been desperately needed. It's good to hear from you. She giggled, and you could hear the jangling of the jewelry she must be wearing. Nothing amazing is happening for me, either. I'm bored and I felt like chatting. My morning shift ended, so I'm free for the rest of the day. Woohoo! That's good. You were off from your part-time job today. I have had a job since I was like... And then before that it was paper route, so yeah. Definitely have a job. Like you, Lee had started dipping her toes into the workforce as of late. It made keeping in touch frequently even more complicated, but you both managed. What about you? It's been pretty normal. That's you then. So, how's Mr. Cove Holden doing? Potato just bursting into the room. Wow, yeah. There was a teasing bent to her tone. She was never willing to let up on what was going on between the two of you. Of course not, it's the hottest gossip. But that name was incredibly familiar to your ears. Cove, your next-door neighbor for the past decade at this point. I am running on grape juice, and I want to see this adult baby girl get spooched. Two of you were close, best friend. He was an important friend. You were in love with him, but didn't want to talk about that. But he was far more than just someone who lived on the same street. He was your boyfriend. Is it possible for him to become my boyfriend later in the step? Because I kind of want to, like, see that happen. You know? Are we talking old grape juice? What do you think? Do we get to get in a relationship later on if we don't do it right now? Help. Because if not, then I think I'll do that one. Because don't want to talk about it. That's lame. But this one, secretly hoped he'd tell you he felt more than that. That's, you know, that's potential, right? Like this one is just, don't want to talk about it. But this one's like, ooh, but maybe I do. I think probably, right? Not doing anything. Want to answer but withholding spoilers? I just want to know if we have a chance later. She looks so, like, devious. Chance to what? If we can make him our boyfriend later on. Maybe? Blushy face. Okay. He was an important friend, but you secretly hoped he'd tell you he felt more than that. Yeah, that one sounds good then. Cove was so very special to you. You could only dream that it was mutual. You knew you wouldn't be able to tell him that, though. Maybe he would take the plunge. Are you even surviving with the boy being 10 feet away without the boy being 10 feet away at all times? Or is everything right with the world again and he's back? No, Lee, he isn't here. Just like he wasn't here yesterday, or the last time you asked, or the time before that. Aw, my bad. Can you blame me? Doesn't it seem like he should have made his grand return already? Plus, I want to visit soon, and he needs to be there too. You could understand where she was coming from. This was certainly outside the norm. For the past couple months, and the last few weeks especially, Cove had been going to his mom's place in Nevada. The two of you still regularly stayed in contact over text and calls, but still. Your mind began to drift back in time to all the prior trips he'd taken to visit her. Almost every year, he'd have to go away for a while, and then he'd be back. Sad and lonely, never-minded, kind of nice to have breaks, no. Weren't a fan, but made do? You weren't a fan, but made do. Letters, care packages, treasures. You gave him special treasures to take with him before he left. Some were just to borrow, and others were for him to keep forever. He sent you letters while there in return. That's how it was in the past. But lately he had been trying to see her as much as he could before taking long trips to another state became too impractical to do. His part-time work could become full-time soon. Or he could be moving somewhere else for school. Cove hadn't actually been entirely clear what his plans were after graduation. Cove was hesitant to speak on that, even with you. It couldn't be avoided forever, though. You both knew that. Maybe we should switch this up to a non-Cove related topic? Sounds like a plan. The rest of the conversation rolled on. Not much longer, though. Lee had to go, and you needed to finish your responsibilities around the house. The both of you exchanged goodbyes, then you went back to what you'd been working on before the call came in. Oh, matching sun hat! What a cute look. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, I can read and speak also, and think too. Your chores. You were approached by Liz wearing a cheeky smile. My eyes always jump ahead and say things that are coming up combined with the word that I'm actually trying to read. I've got Mom's keys. Want to get out of this tiny town to do some shopping in a real city? That sounds great. I'm driving. You were glad for that. You still just had a learner's permit. Yeah, I took a while to get my driver's license and hardly ever drove, and now it's expired, so I would have to start the whole process over again. Not me having driving anxiety, so I just prefer to avoid it. Anyway, go get your wallet and anything else. We're going now. With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. You had money saved up from all the part-time work you'd done, as well as from gifts you'd received. After making sure you both were fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what shops to stop at and the radio blasting. Liz controlled what was played, but she made sure to pick songs she knew you liked. It was something the two of you had always done for each other. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Liz had her interests to check out, and you yours. Yeah, still the ones I developed when I was younger. Just kind of doodled all the time, and then I started doing more art and did it better and better, and here I am now, so. When turning a corner down a new length of the mall, your eyes caught on a little gift store. Your friends and family had recently given you many presents for graduating high school. You realized you wanted to get a graduation gift yourself to give to Cove. Oh, you had a gift of your own ready to give to Cove when the chance came? Yeah, because we already graduated, so I'd have known ahead of time, so. You had a gift of your own ready to give to Cove when the chance came. It was something you had known you wanted to do, and you were looking forward to seeing his reaction. Graduation might have already come and gone, but Cove wasn't really around, so you had to wait. Eventually, the mall was explored in full, with every shop of note being checked over. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. Ah, this sounds like such a lovely sister outing. Liz had many thoughts on that topic. Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even if smaller stores require extra distance, the brands are so much more Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking and walking right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seemed to entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? Oh, did you see someone? The attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. Something else had all her focus. Is it Shiloh? Is it adult Shiloh? Did we run into adult Shiloh? That would be so cool. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. Gemstone, don't draw attention, but look. What? With a harsh whisper and a subtle jerk of her head, she urged you once more. Look. I think I might have been right. Or is it Cove? I don't know. You followed her gaze as best as you could to a large bunch of colorful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. You faced back over to your sister with a confused expression and an unspoken question. What were you supposed to be seeing here? Gemstone. Doesn't one of them seem familiar? Okay, it's not Cove. We didn't recognize him on first glance, so it's either Shiloh or Derek. She was practically bouncing at this point, so you looked the group over again, and this time you saw what she was seeing. Amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, gray eyes, and lots of freckles. That's Shiloh! Our Shiloh, from when we were kids! Yep, that was definitely him. I can't believe it. He's honestly just there. That's hilarious. That's incredible. Pardon my French. Whatever happens in this DLC, yikes. Oh, but how do we talk to him? We'd have to pull him away from all those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth opened to reply, but she cut it off with her own answer to the question. I've got it. I'll shout the name Shiloh, and then we can act like it wasn't us. If he responds to that, we'll know without a doubt it's him. Gemstone, keep an eye out to see if he looks. Liz, can't you just try talking to him normally? Likely without even hearing what you had to say, Liz put her plan into action. Shiloh! She loudly projected the word across the way, and then put on an act of casualness, turning her head away from the scene while brushing at the skirt of her dress. It was in a supremely awkward moment. You could only stand there as the tension in the area shifted to the two of you thanks to your sister's shout. But of the many startled bystanders who became alerted... Okay, I didn't just have a stroke. That actually says altered. Alerted to your presence. One of them was the boy. From a distance, his large eyes met yours. He looked. A wide grin took over Liz's face. She pushed the rim of her sun hat up and away from her face while swishing back around to greet her old friend directly. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Shiloh! Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet, without really closing the gap. She wanted him to come to her. Oh, the skirt has like a underlayer and then a sheer at the bottom. That's... Ah, this dress is really cute. Alright. Lizzie. My goodness. Who you presumed to be Shiloh looked surprised at the call-out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and hesitantly glanced back your way. He was trying to double-check something. Liz remained steadfast with her gaze trained on him, and ultimately he looked away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of Liz and you. Oh, it's Shiloh. I like your hat. Just that simple greeting had Liz giggling. I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie, and that's Gemstone. We were all friends when we were little kids. His already wide eyes grew larger, their gaze darting between you and Liz. His previously chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. Oh, younger brother, perhaps? Maybe not. Twin? No, I don't think he would have said that if it was the wrong person. I'm really sorry, but I think you have the wrong person. You could tell not being instantly recognized was going to make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undeterred. It was a long time ago. You were really young. I get why you feel like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You're exactly the same. That face, the freckles, how genially you try to phrase things. You're even still wearing a hat. Instinctively, he looked up at his headwear with creased brows, not making the connection on why the hat meant something to her. We knew each other, okay? An uneasy smile settled on him as the silence followed Liz's speech. He was picking his next words carefully. Who is this person? Is it not Shiloh? A relative? And then the quiet was obliterated by a new voice bursting into the conversation. Oh no, he was pretending not to know her. Shiloh, what are you doing? The rest of the group had already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We are on a schedule. He is a two-faced gobshite. Huh? And he's so bad you don't even know it? Not Shiloh. Startled, your head snapped towards the path. A distinctly unhappy individual with piercing magenta eyes, dark brown skin, and a sharp jaw stormed your way. He lied from the start? He carried a cloud of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. I didn't mean to ditch. Shiloh, whose name was now officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add to the explanation of his absence as the stranger watched impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it was a tiny misunderstanding. Huh? Liz theoretically, as well as literally, put her foot down at that, stomping in frustration, and getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion. We do know you. Shiloh merely shrunk in on himself. The tone he spoke with was pained. Sorry for my vulgarities, but wow. Sorry. You honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upset feelings of your sister, or the palpable dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That in itself was very Shiloh-like. Oh, so you know him, is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissively scoffing tone, as if the words sounded so absurd to him that it was almost amusing. Almost. But the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you. I'm someone who's been forced against his will to be aware of what's going on in Shiloh's ridiculous personal life for a year. If the two of you had any importance in his general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother trying to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have. It's not good enough. He's with us, and you'll survive without him. Now stop loitering in the road. It's rude. We're the rude ones? The high-strung ranting got an audible gasp from Shiloh, who finally started to speak up again in defense. Nate, that's really mean. It's also true. We're leaving. With that declaration, the unofficially introduced Nate indignantly spun on his heels and walked speedily towards where the group went, completely confident that Shiloh would follow behind. People sure can have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just try to get along? It's not hard. Don't worry, though. I bet you won't have to deal with him again. Ah, well, we are meeting such kind people today. Yeah. And I'm sorry I can't stay to talk to you, but I hope you have a really nice life. What the heck? And that was it. His final parting words given, Shiloh left the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit, stunned, only to frown when it hit her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast you hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up releasing with the breath. I could have told him his last name was Fields. His birthday is October 30th. That would have proved it, but no. There's more to it than that. Shiloh is a cameo character from another of GB Patch's games that goes into a story more thoroughly. But yeah, Shiloh has more of a story to him, that's all I'll say. Alright, fair enough. I am so lost. Wow, Shiloh grew up to be dumb. I'm sorry, Liz. You felt so bad for your big sister. He had been such a close friend in her early years, and the reunion was completely ruined. Staying ambiguous to avoid spoilers? Fair enough, and I thank you for the consideration. Do you want to go catch up with him? Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we can leave it there, thanks. He is in the middle of a high school field trip, and it was already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. Though, if given the chance, I could definitely have a few words with him about the company he's got. She laughed, but you could tell there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at that guy, even if she was happy to let Shiloh go. Maybe they're only with each other because of the trip, and it's not usually how things are. We can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Shiloh. Have a good life. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby sister. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you really felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappear and reappear in the most unexpected ways. The two of you enjoyed what remained of your outing until it was time to return home. Now I kind of want to play that other game to figure out what his deal is. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. Sorry, yawned. You arched your back as you stretched your arms towards the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover an entire week. Liz tried to hide a yawn behind her hand. You weren't the only one feeling worn out. I'll be heading up to your room. I mean, the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out the door. Her tone was light. She'd had quite a lot to say on the subject when you'd first taken over her bigger room after she left for college. But there have been many trips back home for her since then. The room hasn't been hers for years. It was more of a running joke now that she continued to bring the topic up to this day. That's how they get you? Now you have to play all the games? Cameos, yeah. I'm sorry. Hey, don't actually sound apologetic. That's playing dirty. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've got your own place, and we're both in town for a visit. That's alright with me. I don't need it. Sweetie, there's such a thing as being too generous. At least you have me to look out for you again. She flashed her familiar grin, and you couldn't help but feel glad she was back around, even if it was temporary. With that, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into a new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. No way! We get to design it! It's Aqua! It's Aqua! Oh, these are so cute! We're sticking with the books and the shelves, though. This one is very minimalistic. This one, absolutely. Purple's cute. Bit of makeup stuff, which is not really my jam. Computer and rocks. Not bad, but definitely this. Extras. Oh, I don't get extras. They're probably DLC. It's so nice, right? Yeah, this is so fun! Yes. Lights! Yes. Oh! Oh, there's different ones! Oh ho ho! Okay, I do literally have a pinboard up behind me. So we'll stick with that. Why does it change all of them? Left is staying as that. Right's just the one poster. Extras are for which layout you pick? Ah. And lights. Yeah, this is cute. My room is not this clear. Also, this would be a great space for like a little reading chair by the window. Oh yeah. Candles. Okay. There would be candles. There would be art supplies. This shelf would be absolutely full. Probably not the shelves. There would be like decorative, like more decorative plants. If I had a window like this, there would be real plants as well. Even though they would probably be dead. My desk, I have 2 monitors, would not be quite this clear. Box under the desk. I have my foot on a box under my desk right now, so that's perfect. But yeah, this is gorgeous. Done! You were really satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down another yawn. Dang it! They always get me. It was no good. Your bed was now lodged in your mind, and all you could think about was collapsing on it. You trudged up the stairs to your room. Oh, it's so cute! That's honestly such a cool feature to add. Stepping inside, you closed the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realized you were not alone there. Love the way that at least 2 people have played this game and at least 2 haven't. Yeah, good balance. Is Cove inside our room? Comfortably perched on the windowsill was someone very familiar to you. How did we not see him when we walked in? Cove Holden. Oh, he blushing. He's so cute. Look at this look. Oh my goodness. The shock knocked all of the words out of you. Oh, damn, yeah. Surprise? His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise. You hadn't expected him to be within the state. Never mind your own house. He hadn't answered how he had suddenly just appeared back in Sunset Bird. Although, to be fair, you had been too astounded to actually ask the question. Thankfully, Cove took the hint from your stunned expression and began to explain. I got in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. The window. The usual way? He sneaks in the window usually? Oh. A small smile had formed on his face. Look at this little shit-eating grin. Excuse the expression. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could still barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. I left my bags in your backyard. I hope that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back to town. You were his first port of call, taking precedence above all else. Port of call, and he's wearing an anchor. I bet we gave that to him. Not kidding. Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'd see you at the earliest opportunity, rather than allowing his plans to change. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, what do I do here? Not this, because it's just too freaking adorable to just shake my head dismissively. Bashful is cute. Probably not laugh. Walked over... ran to him? We haven't seen him in a while. He's been kind of delayed. We wanted him to get back. You ran to him. You ran to Cove. Every second away from him was a moment too long. As you approached, Cove quickly hopped up from the windowsill to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. You jumped in. You wrapped him in a gentle embrace. Aww. Cove sighed contentedly, melting into the hug. He wrapped his own arms around your back in return. Oh, that's so sweet. Taking your shoulder for a pillow, he laid his cheek against you. This is so cute. I missed you. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks burying his eyes, which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Yeah, I had a great time. I need to hear more of his voice to get it down. Probably deeper than that. Yeah, I had a great time. Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. His mom was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. As a result, Cove was going to be sticking around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled as much as they could ever be. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. Oh. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set while you'd been busy reuniting. Sleepover, sleepover, sleepover. I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Yeah, I'll come along. Want to come with me? You know I do. Okay, his voice is not as low as I thought, so never mind. Cove began to head to your bedroom door. You followed after him. The two of you casually went down to the ground floor of your house. In all the excitement of Cove's return, you hadn't even remembered the gift you'd prepared for when he got back. It would be best to give it to him now, before he left your house. Can you wait here for a little while? I got something for you. Cove's eyes widened as he tried to conceal a smile. He toyed with the collar of his top. I mean, you didn't have to do that. You nodded with some eagerness, trying to imagine how he'd react when he actually saw it. Ooh, what did I get him? I'm so curious. Ooh. Does this mean like a kiss or something? Or did I make something? Okay, I make things. I make things for gifts. The gift you'd chosen hadn't been something you could buy. It was... it would be something I'd made myself, but this is so cute. We gotta give him the shell, right? It would probably be both from me, but I kind of want to give him the shell. The orange shell he'd been entranced with since you were kids. You quickly went up to your room to collect the shell, knowing exactly where to find it. It had been housed in the same box since you were a little kid, after all. Taking great care, you extracted it from the case. Though it had been a long time since you'd taken it out, the grooves were as familiar to your fingertips as the opening line of your favorite song was to your ears. Cove had admired the shell ever since he first saw it, declaring it to be the best of all your treasures. Despite that, he'd never accepted your offers to take it. You hoped that might change tonight. You closed your hand around the shell, not wanting Cove to see it until you were ready, and headed downstairs. When you were back in front of Cove, you cautiously lifted your arm up. He looked on curiously as you unfurled your fingers to show him the gift. I know you don't want to take it from me, but what I want is for you to have it. Cove stared down at the familiar shell nestled in your palm. His mouth parted, though no words came out. He drew his eyes up to meet yours silently, and found the answer to whatever question he couldn't speak. He put his hand over yours and broke the silence. Okay. Oh, it was quiet as a whisper. His fingers were as gentle as his words, brushing against your palm as he took the shell from your grasp. Beautiful, beautiful. He cradled it carefully against his chest and smiled at you, his eyes bright. I'll keep it forever. Cove reverently laid the gift safely on the counter, but he didn't turn back to face you once he had ensured it was secure. Oh. Though his face was angled away from you, you caught his eyelashes fluttering as if batting away tears. His throat bobbed as he swallowed bubbling emotions. This is so sweet. You knew that Cove could be sentimental. The gift, and all the memories and feelings tied up with it, seemed to have taken a toll on him. When he began to sniffle, you felt the need to reach out. Cove? I can't. You just... Stone, I don't know what to do. He forcefully scrubbed at his eyes, like he was trying to push the tears that threatened to spill back in. Oh, Cove, it's okay. You need to cry? No. Nevertheless, tears had begun to spill down his cheeks, even as he wiped them away. More took their place. Sweet baby child. Wait, did that have a voice? Oh. Thank you. His voice quivered as he spoke. Cove scooped you up into a hug, pressing you so tightly against his chest that your breath escaped in a short squeak. He burrowed his face against your neck, his shed tears damp on your skin. You hugged him back. You didn't need words as you quietly accepted his appreciation. Cove let out a steady breath. It was far removed from the shaky gasps that had accompanied his sniffles. The tears had dried. His eyes were a little red, but open and at peace once again. He smiled, fully recovered from the emotion that had overcome him. Oh, that's so sweet. You're really seriously too nice to me. You smiled back. I don't think there's such things as too nice when it comes to you. Cove brushed his hand against the pale ghost of a scar on his arm. He was at a loss for what to do now. The clock ticked away, counting the seconds of silence. Once you'd had the chance to settle your thoughts, you figured you'd tell Cove the intriguing news. Cove, the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier. I saw Shiloh today. Shiloh? Cove repeated the name, his expression blank. Oh, yeah, I feel that, Cove. From when we were kids. Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved. I met a guy named Shiloh. He looked just like the Shiloh we knew, plus however many years. But he didn't remember me and just left. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know. Too bad I missed it. Though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh for a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who were only ever together because of other people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh's up to these days. I don't have any idea. He didn't say much. Okay then. That was everything you had on that news item, so you moved on to the next big update. Also, you know the mean old neighbors? The ones who would always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories of back in the day was not pleasant, even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah, they're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck prickling as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in vicinity of their vacation home. Crotchety old people sometimes. Yikes. It was strange to think of that coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I've missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something. And we'd better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. You nodded. The two of you headed out and traced the most familiar path you'd ever walked. The trip across the road over to Cove's house. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was soon upon you. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day would follow suit. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cove was finally back home. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Your mom was watching you with a teasing smile. So, what's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you. You knew both of your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of this summer before all the big changes started. I'll try. But before you go gallivanting around town, could you bring the mail in? I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. All right. Thanks very much. Wow. The shirt is really nice. Hair. Messy, floofy hair. As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around in the road. They noticed you too. Hey, he's so much taller on his dad now. Hey there, Gemstone. Hi. Good timing. You should come join us. You waved at him. Cove couldn't quite meet your gaze, but as you approached, the corner of his mouth pulled into a smile. You noticed Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing on the tip of his tongue. But he decided to keep it to himself. He knows what's going on here. Look at that face. He was young once. What are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Coven are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning. Oh no. Send help. Mr. Holden stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it'd be only polite to breathe. Only be polite to greet the new folks in town. You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting development. For several moments, Mr. Holden was unable to answer. He was laughing and slightly shaking his head. You might be onto something. Cove put a reassuring hand on his dad's shoulder. You can still make the most out of your life before it's too late. How old do you think I am? I'm not that old. Okay, maybe I am. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the currently vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. Oh no, I didn't mean to actually ruin his excitement. Also, I love how my mom's both got like gray hair and eye bags and he's still like a flawless young dad. Oh, okay, it wasn't us. There's no sign of them, and I still need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. Really? Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. Oh man. That works. He moved to firmly place both hands over Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. I think the implication with Cliff's appearance is to hint at how young he and Kira were when they had Cove. I agree with that. I just thought it was kind of funny. I was expecting him to, like, look a little bit different, but all he did was get longer hair. But yeah, like I said, Yelena apparently. Hot young dad. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Wink. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. You really liked Mr. Holden. You had for a long time. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay? Just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I'll be hanging around the street a while. See you later, bye! I can wait with you. You wouldn't abandon Cove there to wither on the road out of boredom, really? Of course. I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you a moment, smiling softly and thinking about his response. Cove put his hands on your shoulders, gripping you solidly, but not enough to hurt. His eyes fixated on you just as firmly. He was serious. I know it's good. Gemstone, you're my true ally in this world. That got a fair amount of chuckles from you. He grinned, the stoicism fading into amusement. Cliff is like 37 in step 3? Whoa. 37. 19? When they had Cove? Aw, you're always good to me. I can't help myself. Yeah? Well, good then. I don't know what I would do without you. The smile on his face reached his eyes, and it made you feel electric. And then he let go of you. Cove stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front porch steps. You both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game on the new tenants. Hey, we can talk about what he's been up to. Also, I still need to take the mail in, but I can do that when I'm grabbing my stuff after the new tenants are in. Well, he's texting his dad. Yeah, they had Cove when they were 18 and 19, like 18, 19. Yeah. The neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of a car. A taxi followed the noise, turning onto your street. Cove's eyebrows raised at that sight, and he sat up straight on the stoop. That has to be them, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel just a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. No. I was like, could it possibly be Kyra? That would be really funny, but no. She was fine living with them, and also she was working on a project, which is why Cove's back here, so yeah. The taxi pulled to a stop as you expected, in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger doors that opened. The single occupant exited the cab. Huh? So sorry, but I kinda have to go now. All good, Sky. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for joining the stream. Have a great day. Huh? You could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you had expected. That was indeed not exactly what I was expecting. It was a young man. Had to be close to your own age. He was dressed fully in an eclectic black, white, and gray outfit. Even his side-swooping hair matched the scheme. Rich kid? He gives me rich kid vibes. I mean, obviously, because he's riding in a taxi to a condo by himself, so. See you all soon. Have a great day/night. And you as well, Sky. Thanks for hanging out with us. The only other pop of color was from something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. A pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught while he looked over at his audience. Hello, folks. Who might you be? We're the neighbors. The smile already prominent on his face curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. See, I knew it. Rich kid vibe. Hallelujah. Okay. You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. Oh, okay. The color-coordinated man left it there, however, and with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride. I thought it said, like, shut the door of his apartment. I was like, man, he just, like, said hallelujah, walked over to his door and closed it. Then he turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Continuing on with his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll it down. When it opened, he leaned down and rested his arm on the edge. You assumed he was thanking the driver for getting them there, considering he slipped them a tip during the brief chat. Yes, him reach. I'm silly. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up and away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around a corner. The new renter had officially arrived. Him silly. Whoa, ripped jeans. Stylish. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up to greet this person. You followed suit. Oh, excellent. I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. His ass is flamboyant as hell. No, really? Heck yeah. You shook it. Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give a satisfying shake. Hi, Baxter. I'm Gemstone. Hey, Gemstone. I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. From your other side, Cove made a sudden sputtering noise. And you are? He lifted his hand out to Cove next. Cove shook his hand, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove a moment. His voice was so deep there. No, wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past. But it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Sorry, this was too much fun. Ooh, your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove. That's gorgeous. It's really not. Oh, these options are all so fun. I don't know what to say. Oh, no, I didn't mean to make him, like, feel uncomfortable. No, I agree. It suits you. I'm dying. Nice to see someone else knows. The impact might have faded for you, living with it this long. But I promise to the onlooker, it's a knockout. Cove couldn't face either of you after that. His cheeks were quickly turning bright red with embarrassment. You noticed that Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. Aw, he's a nice rich guy. I'm sorry. It wasn't intended to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I'm patently against stepping on anyone's toes. Heck yeah! I like this guy. I think he's neat. I hope he turns out to be better than the other people that we've met. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden there in his words. And you noticed that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your faces, to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position of his feet. Ah, I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. He grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Flamboyant as hell? Yeah. Yup, I get that. Cove frowned at the overt forwardness. Listen, if he was doing it to just me, or just Cove, I would get it. But he's doing it to both, so I can tell there's like some sort of just, that's his personality behind it. Thanks? I'll pass, I think. You didn't answer the question. Baxter nodded understandingly and let the subject go. After that, there was a lull in conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it. What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh yes, well, my parents rented a condo, so I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eye as he continued. Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting. But lucky for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Okay, never mind about what I said earlier. Cove was practically reeling over how Baxter found a way to fit comments like that into every single topic thus far. Why do you keep doing that? You don't know us, but you talk like you already do. Cove spoke, firm yet genuinely confused, and Baxter smiled cautiously. I don't feel the need to keep words of praise to myself, and when I say something, I mean it. Plus, what's the point of spending my whole off semester alone? The best part of being somewhere new is getting to interact with new people. I'm sorry, that line of sight is getting me. Am I honestly the first person who's acknowledged you're attractive and intriguing people? True, you're hidden away in a tiny tourist trap, but still. Baxter crossed his arms. After studying your faces a few more seconds, he decided to continue. Am I only trying to score a hookup or get a romantic fling started by saying those things? No, that isn't the point of speaking well of others. I was raised better than that. Though, would I be fussed if that's what my words led to? Also no. Okay. Not just personality, he's genuinely willing to hook up with that. Well, I mean, that can be a personality trait too, but anyway. Whew. I am flexible, not a surprise. I can back off with the lines if you don't like the attention. But I would like to be friends if we can. Cove wasn't sure how to respond. He glanced at you, and he continued to look at your face when he spoke. Thanks for answering. I'm not interested in any of that with you. Maybe not the friend thing, but the other part. Back off, Brittany, co-stars. Me? I find stuff like that very entertaining, which may be a bad thing, like too entertaining. But obviously in a relationship or in a very close friendship, like potentially leading to a relationship, I'd be like, no thanks. I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that with me. I'll keep it in check. Glad we're working things out. Potential naughty's BB smashing faces. Okay, fine. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. My mind is mush. No, it's good. Like I said, I find it maybe a bit too entertaining. His voice is so deep. I keep forgetting. Since you were both already out here, did my arrival interrupt anything? Definitely not. Actually, we were literally waiting for your arrival. Oh. Actually, no, Smith. I feel like this is a reasonable thing to be curious about. You told Baxter that you were both waiting to see who was going to move in. That condo hasn't had a new renter in my entire life. We had to see who was moving in now. Baxter laughed at that, immensely pleased with your response. I'm getting a reputation in this town already. Not bad. Yeah, I sense that you get reputations wherever you go. Not like an insulting way, but just the general vibe, you know. Well, if either of you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer. But we can save the schedule talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of the head and flashed you both a dazzling smile. Bye. Cove gave a small wave as well. We had no idea who you were is the reputation that no one knows you. I mean, in a small town, yeah, that is the reputation. The reputation of being someone new. moving into a small town, not just passing through. Well, I mean, kind of passing through, but there for the whole summer. You know what I mean. Anyway. Bye, Baxter. See ya. Baxter then turned on his heels and strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up and bringing it into his condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. Also, sorry for the pauses. I'm just kind of sick, like a little bit. Not like enough to show any symptoms, but just enough to get like a little stuffed, so don't wanna sniff. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath. I don't know how I'm gonna explain that guy to my dad. I think him and Holden will get along. Him and Mr. Holden will get along fantastic. Unless Baxter flirts with us in front of him, because then he'll be upset that his ship is getting ruined. You burst into a fit of laughter trying to imagine the conversation. At least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor, and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder, but I need to bring the mail in. Wasn't someone you liked? No. Bad first impression? No. Weren't sure how to feel? No. We're not interested in him. I'm very interested in him, but just to see his antics, not in a romantic way. You were looking forward to seeing more of him. He seems entertaining. Baxter was different, but you liked him. Smiling, you hoped that he would become a good friend this summer. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started making your way towards town. Oh, is mail like in town? Or from a mailbox? Maybe it's in town. A little while later, you and Cove reached a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stopped walking. What's wrong? Oh, did I remember the mail? Oh, no. Oh, perhaps the text. I think I felt my phone vibrate. You dug your cell phone out and looked at it with a satisfied grin. There was a new message. Oh. You opened the new text from Miranda, and all you saw was, I can see you. Immediately from where you stood, you started swiveling your head around. You couldn't spot Miranda anywhere, but she did send you more messages. Haha, I see you looking. Where are you? Come on. Really, Randy? Eh? Oh, it's responses that I can choose. Where are you? I was confused there for a moment. The message was sent, and you were back to looking around, scanning for any sign of movement and familiar faces, but they were still invisible. Cove looked at you carefully, raising an eyebrow. You sent your own. If we're good friends with them, I sent my own joking text. If you want to keep hiding, Cove and I can just go do our own stuff without you, is what you decided on. You smirked, hitting send on that message. Cove looked at you curious, raising an eyebrow. What's happening? Before you could even begin explaining to Cove, you both snapped your attention to yelling from across the street. And there you saw Miranda and Terry coming out from behind the backside wall of the grocery store. They both started waving wildly to draw even more attention to themselves. Cove took a step in their direction. Grinning, he put his hand around his mouth to better project his message across the street. Hey! Laughing in arm, the girls stopped only to look both ways, and then rushed across the empty street. Oh, she's so cute. I hope you weren't waiting too long. Ah, they're both so cute. Hi. They're so adorable, yeah. I'm amazed. How did you appear out of nowhere like that? They started giggling again. Terry glanced at Miranda, wondering what their story should be. It was magic. Gesturing in a vaguely whimsical manner, Terry went along with the decision. And magicians never reveal their secrets. Ooh. I need to hear more of their voices to get a solid grasp. Please excuse us, I'm figuring it out. That's fair. Terry then closed the distance between her and Cove and crushed him in a painfully tight hug. You're finally here! It's been so long! What took you? He did his best to eke out a reply with his chest being compressed. Eventually she let him go. Terry looked at him with a beaming smile, but Cove was distracted, rubbing his arms. Standing there, Miranda shifted her weight to her other hip. She watched Cove patiently with a bashful smile. Welcome back. Thanks. It finally felt official. Everyone was together in one place. From here, you weren't sure how often you would have another afternoon like this again. They didn't either. Cove. Terry poked Cove square in the chest. You're gonna have to get me your schedule by this time yesterday. Not really possible, Terry, but I can say as soon as I know. So far, work hasn't said anything, but I can tell you I'm busy with Orca activities. When Cove wasn't at his part-time job, or pursuing his athletic and academic interests, he volunteered for the Ocean Restoration California Affiliation, or Orca. Okay, we're in Cali. The group focused on cleaning up beaches and removing pollution from the ocean. Cove always loved the sea. It didn't surprise you one bit when he started getting involved with them. You joined Orca too after learning of it. That sounds fun. Their big smash event for the year is coming right up, isn't it? Yeah. There's not much more to do before then, but I'm kinda looking forward to the fundraising push. Hopefully we can pull it off. If anyone can do it, it's you two. And even if it goes really bad, it'll still look good on a college application at least. That's true. Guess what else? We don't have to stand here to say stuff. Let's go. I would like a meal now. Perking up, Cove nodded in agreement. Yeah, for sure. The four of you headed into town, happily chatting the whole way. The only decision left to make was where exactly to stop and eat. The rest of the afternoon and evening passed by in the blink of an eye. When night fell, it was time to head home, and you parted ways with Miranda and Terry. You and Cove reached your neighborhood without event. It was late enough that your out-of-the-way street was dark and silent. You strolled with a skip in your step. Days like today, filled with good food and good company, left you feeling energized. As you walked alongside Cove, you peered at his face out of the corner of your eyes. You wondered why he felt so distant to you. It was out of character. For a while, Cove silently stared ahead and left you alone with your own thoughts. It surprised you when you did hear his voice all of a sudden. He still wouldn't look at you. It feels weird coming back to the neighborhood and trying to get into things like they're the same. And they're not. They've changed. They're still changing. Your mouth felt uncomfortably dry all of a sudden. It was true. The things that kept the people you knew together were starting to disappear. Each person had to make their own priorities, and their path now that it wasn't set for them. And their own path now that it wasn't set for them. You thought about your own immediate future. If you had to choose in this very moment, you wanted to work part-time, to focus on the time that's not school or work. And that was the basics. I did not go to post-secondary rather. For your career, you thought you'd... Which one is more artisty? I guess, like, start your own business? Do contract work, like commissions and stuff? Work online? And that was all. For yourself, you wanted to try to figure out what you truly want. And work on self-improvement on your own. And take some time to just relax. Everything. And that was all. And for that, you wanted to travel around to different places. It'd all be happening so soon. You'd started to prepare for what was coming. Okay, part-time job to make money to be able to travel around. Oh, so you'd started preparations. I was decently open about my plans to travel around. Yeah. Whenever it comes up, I'll probably mention it, so. You'd been open about your situation, and everyone knew. Now you wondered what Cove had in mind. You'd heard him consider some things for the future, but it was never anything that would have counted as a real plan. Making it back home, you both stopped in the middle of the street. Cove sighed. He looked at the ground for a moment. His mouth trembled, trying to settle on the right words to say. So, are you still thinking about relaxing for a while and stuff while traveling? Yeah. Cove closed his eyes and nodded while he composed his thoughts. He looked at you when he lifted his head. I decided on something. Well, kind of. He smiled slightly and rubbed his arm, and then his expression grew more serious. I'm not gonna decide on a school or a career. Not this summer. I'm gonna stay here. At least in Sunset Bird. I'll probably move out of my dad's place. I'll keep working my job. Keep doing my volunteer stuff and everything else. Maybe I'll know what I want for myself by fall, or next year, or maybe I'll never have a plan. Life will continue on with whatever's happening. I'm not gonna crush myself trying to have everything figured out by a timeline that someone else has set. I just can't do it. Yes, Cove, relatable. His brow furrowed. His tone was tense. It was clear how much expectations were weighing on him. I know that's not very exciting, but It's the best I can do right now. He laughed self-derisively, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. You looked at him deeply, and you couldn't say anything. You could only quietly accept it. He exhaled, releasing some tension in his shoulders. I didn't know that it meant I would be traveling this summer. I just want to travel eventually. Whoops. Thanks for hearing me out on this. You knew him well enough to know that Cove wasn't feeling completely better about the way things were. No matter what's happening, I want you to know that you won't ever lose me. I won't really be gone. I'll still be here for you the best I can, whether it's long distance or whatever else. Cove's whole expression softened. His lips pulled into an affectionate smile. You, Stone, you deserve to have everything you want in life. I want you to get everything you want in life. That flew out of your mouth immediately, but you meant every word. His mouth pulled into a delicate grin. Looking at you fondly, Cove took a step closer. I have to get ready for work. And he placed a hand on your shoulder. The warmth from his proximity helped relax you. He spoke to you wholeheartedly. Oh, he spoke to you softly. Wholeheartedly, he meant every word. Things are hard right now. It scares me, but it'll be okay. It'll be more than okay. Now that things are up to us, we can make our lives better than they ever were. You appreciated his attempt to put on a brave face. You could tell how hard Cove was trying to keep himself together for you. You hoped that he was right, and things would be okay for both of you. There's a save button, I know, but we're in a touching moment. Deeply, you met Cove's gaze. You nodded. At that, his expression morphed into a look of careful confidence. Clearly he was still struggling with this topic, and you wondered what else might be on his mind. This was a start, I think, but it's not over, is it? We'll have to keep talking about it going forward. Yeah. Cove softly reiterated his promise. It'll all be okay. We'll still always be there for each other. Is that good with you? It is. Cool. That's cool. I'll see you tomorrow, Gemstone. I'll see you. Good night. He pulled you into an unexpected hug. It knocked the breath out of you. Yet couldn't have been a more reassuring feeling. You returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as you could. He finally let go, giving you another smile. Then Cove started walking away, but you remained there, frozen in the middle of the street. As a car You watched him and wondered, how many more times will he be able to say that he'll see you tomorrow? Hoped for countless more times. Beep beep. Finally, you turned towards your own house. You vowed You vowed yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. Save, save, save. Ooh, charity. Okay, I have to head out, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. We're going to be continuing with our adult life and our crushes and all the things that come with that soon, next week, but that's going to be all for today, so I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and farewell.